In the midst of the Pacers winning Game 3 of the NBA Finals to take a 2-1 series lead, the NBA had, for some reason, 3 games on at the same time, and they all started at 10 o'clock. One of those games was the Dallas Wings versus the Phoenix Mercury. And even though the Mercury won that game convincingly, 93-80, Paige Bueckers had her coming out party, scoring a career high 35 points on 13 of 19 shooting. 22 of those points was in the first half. That wasn't good enough because everyone else scored 11, 10. There was a couple 11s, couple 10s, and that wasn't good enough because now Dallas is 1-10 on the season, and that was in their first game back. So I gotta see this.
Paige Bueckers just had a historical game only to the likes of Caitlin Clark. In fact, those two players as rookies are the only two rookies to have 35 points with 5 3-pointers made in a game. We're going to get into the film in this video. Paige Bueckers was absolutely spectacular. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. Dijonai Carrington tries to get into a fight at the end of the game. She's going buck wild like an animal out there, and that's what people are talking about after the game. This is why I keep telling you guys, all this drama, all this K-pop breakfast club crap going on in the WNBA has to stop because
yeah, we gotta get this shit. But you know what? It's women. So there are some women out there who just love drama and feast on it. And honestly, I'm not surprised because now Dijonai, she's more known for the hard fouls, the yanking of Sarah Ashley Barker's hair. And now she in that game against the Mercury, after the game, she tried to approach Satou Sabally like she wanted to fight her, and that's not how Satou rolls. But I guess this is what happens when you go from a playoff team last year who was in a dogfight series with the Minnesota Lynx. You go from that to now being on a 1-win team in Dallas, where they're the worst team in basketball. Only is them and the Chicago Sky who are pretty bad watch. And they've lost to Chicago twice, I think.
Taken away from the actual game. People are focused on the drama because it is worth talking about, but it's overshadowing the actual sport. When you have a game like this, which is a 1 in a million thing in the WNBA, people should be encouraged to watch the next game. But instead, you have people being encouraged to not tune in because of all this crap going on, all this fighting, and you got Dijonai Carrington always getting into fights. She's always getting into trouble. She's been doing it since the beginning of my time watching the WNBA. Ever since we got into this league, she's been a problem, and she's not even that good, so why do teams even pay her money? I just don't get it. You're taking away from the performances we're seeing. You're taking away from people enjoying good basketball. People should be able to watch a Dallas Wings games without having to worry about seeing this woman go crazy. Nobody wants to see her pull somebody by the ponytail down to the ground. Please get these people out of the league, or put some reins on these things in the league so we can have professional basketball, and so we can focus on basketball. And after games like this, it'll make people want to tune back in for basketball.
Hey, he said put some reins on it, because you know that's what they don't do. The referees, the commissioner, they just let these chicks do whatever. Because when she yanked Sarah Ashley Barker down by the hair, they didn't even call it a flagrant foul. I would see that, and I think that's an ejectable offense. But they see that as a common foul. Play on. What? No, hell no.
Instead of having people wanting to not watch the next game because there's so much drama and you got these crazy women and the league is not doing anything about it, and so now you just don't want to support the league. It's taken away from basketball, all this drama, and it has to end. But now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and look at what Paige Bueckers did in this game, because y'all, she was absolutely spectacular, and if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I watched it for you. Now I want you to look at this first play. Rike Agumbawale is cutting into the paint. The defense collapses on her, and so she kicks it out to Paige Bueckers, and Paige Bueckers doesn't shoot the three. She goes into the paint. The defense collapses on her, but she shoots it up and over these two defenders, y'all. What a shot from Paige Bueckers. And if you know anything about her, you know the mid-range game is where she thrives. The only problem I've really had with Paige Bueckers over the years has been her deferring. She is a player who likes to pass the ball a little too much at times, and unlike a Caitlin Clark, there are times where Paige
She did that sometimes at UConn. Even though she was the main attraction at UConn, there were times where she would defer to Azzy Fudd and her other teammates. When you're the star, you should be shooting 15, 20 times a game.
Bueckers just isn't ever looking for her shot in some of these games. So seeing her being aggressive in this game, like getting up 19 shots, is big time, because the shot was falling and you saw her consistently go to her own shot instead of being so passive, especially early on in this game. Third and fourth quarter, they kind of iced her out. Like, she didn't even touch the ball for like 10, 20 plays, and we'll get to that later. But early on in this game, she was shooting the ball. She had the hot hand. This is what I like to see. And this is very contested, y'all. A very difficult shot. It takes real skill to make a shot like this. There's not many players in the league who can make shots like this. Just genuinely speaking, there's not a lot of guards who shoot shots like this, who make shots like this. You have Caitlin Clark, you got Paige Bueckers, and then who else? This is what you like to see in the WNBA. Players.
I mean, Arike Agumbawale, but she's been so inefficient this season, where in the middle of Carter talking, she said Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, those are the only two players that can dribble 1-2 pull and actually hit it consistently. Arike, she's one of those that she's kind of hit or miss. Like, when she's hot, she's the best shooter in the league. When she's not, she shoots her team right out of the game, and that's how they lose. There's no in between.
Who are gutsy and players who have the skill to back up their gutsiness. And look at this next play, y'all. Paige Bueckers gets the ball off a handoff, then she comes off a screen. This is a really good play set for Paige Bueckers. And look at her stopping in that corner to shoot that three-point shot. No hesitation, no nothing. I'm going to just pull it. That is big time, y'all. Like, no, seriously, that is big time. That is what's going to make people want to continue watching the WNBA. If you have more players doing things like this, people are going to want to tune in, because this is exciting. This is not the average basketball you see in the WNBA, feeding down to the big man, passing it around, turning the ball over. No, this is exciting. This is kind of what Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were doing for the NBA a long time ago. You got players coming in who are exciting and who are totally different from everything else you've ever seen in the WNBA. People are going to want to tune in because of this basketball, so long as people can just tune in to watch basketball. If people also have to tune in to watch MMA brawls, then people aren't going to want to tune in. And I want you to look at this next play. Paige Bueckers gets it in that corner, and look at the defender running towards her, and Paige Bueckers hits her with this little hesitation move, and she gets to that mid-range spot, got that defender going to Alcatraz, and she hits this off glass. That's a beautiful play. And look again, Paige Bueckers is getting to the mid-range. That is where she's at her best.
Now, after she shot fake and dribbled once, she could have easily cut down here for a layup, but instead she ended up.
A lot of videos about her early on this season, and I was like, man, Paige Bueckers is at her best when she's in the mid-range. But the only problem I have with Paige Bueckers is the fact that sometimes she's not looking to shoot the basketball. What I like to see is her coming off an injury and then immediately like, you know what, I'm going to shoot the basketball. I'm going to go to my own shot. And this 35-point game in the WNBA is like equivalent to a 50-point game in the NBA. That's what she just did. A spectacular game, a generational performance, and you're probably not going to see another performance like this from a rookie for a while in the WNBA. And this play right here is beautiful. Paige Bueckers cuts back door. Rike Agumbawale finds her, and that's a heavily contested, off-balance shot. She shouldn't be able to make that, but she can. She, by far, is the best mid-range shooter in the WNBA, in my opinion. I don't know anybody who's shooting the mid-range shot better than her, at least in the guard position. We know Fee and we know Aja Wilson for sure. They're really good mid-range shooters. But as far as guards go, I haven't seen anybody go to the mid-range shot as much as she likes to, and then I haven't seen anybody make it at the rate she makes it.
I mean, Courtney Williams for the Minnesota Lynx, she's a mid-range maestro, but she don't shoot it she's not relied on to shoot it as much as Paige does.
Problem that anybody should ever really be having with Paige Bueckers at this point is her passing the ball way too much. She passes it too much. It's going to be good as long as she continues to shoot the basketball. People want to watch the Dallas Wings for Paige Bueckers. If anybody is turning on a Wings game, it's going to be for Paige Bueckers. Nobody's turning it on for Dijonai. Nobody wants to see her play. She sucks, in my opinion. I know she gets offensive rebounds, but that is nothing to me. Like the defense, offensive rebounds, the effort she plays with is nothing to me. She misses all her doggone layups. She has no bag. Nobody's turning on the game to watch Dijonai Carrington. No one's turning on the game to watch Alyssa Smith. Nobody's turning on the game to watch Arike Agubuale chuck a whole bunch of shots and miss 70% of them. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see Paige Bueckers. So when she's out there, she has to shoot the basketball. One thing about Caitlin Clark is that when she gets out there, she's going to get her shots up. She's going to make it exciting. She's not going to have a game where she shoots 5 shots. Paige Bueckers has to be like that too. Every single game, give me at least 15. I love to see her shooting 19 in this game, but it has to continue on. I don't want to see next game Paige Bueckers have 13 points with 7 shot attempts. That would be horrible. She has to continue shooting the basketball, continue giving
13 points on 7 shots. Meanwhile, Arike will probably have like a 13, 15 point game, but she'll shoot like 6 for 19 or 6 for 20 and something like that. That's bad basketball.
People what they want to see, and this league is going to continue to grow. And I want you to look at this next play. Paige Bueckers comes off a screen, 2 defenders go with her. She makes the right pass to the player who's open. This is kind of like that Caitlin Clark gravity off that screen. And now at this point in the game, Paige Bueckers has 12 points. So the defense has already made an adjustment. They're like, we're going to lock this chick up, or they're going to do their best. They're not going to succeed in that. But they're sending 2 bodies to her. So that's that Caitlin Clark gravity, 2 defenders going with her. She makes the right pass, and that's an assist. This is what you like to see from Paige Bueckers, using her IQ to make the right pass when the defensive attention comes. She doesn't just buckle when the attention does come. We are going to look at some of the plays where they were sending a lot of defensive attention to her, and she did kind of buckle, but she is, for the most part, able to make the right passes, which shows the other layer to her game. She's an amazing playmaker. She was like number 1 in the league at a certain point in the season when it came to just pure assists, the total. So she has an amazing ability to pass the basketball along with being able to score, which is really great, and it adds to her game. And y'all can't tell me it's not cold, man. Look at this right here. She comes off this screen, bro. What a freaking shot in the mouth of the defender. Are you serious? Y'all can't tell me that's not cold, bro. Y'all can't tell me that's not exciting. That's definitely exciting. That is a crazy shot from Paige Bueckers, man. And the defense is right there. There's been a myth going around that in this game, Paige Bueckers did not experience any defense. I don't know where y'all got that from. I heard that before I actually went to watch the game, so I was thinking going into it, she was just going to be getting a whole lot of wide open shots. That myth is busted.
Every one of these shots that Paige is taking is highly contested. So whoever said that didn't watch last night's game.
On it. They didn't give her a lot of space, but whatever they did, she made them pay. And this is more of that defense, y'all. They're double teaming Paige Bueckers at the top of the key here, and they get a layup on the other end because of it. The idea that they're not sending help and they're just letting her cook, that's not true. In this game, they were playing good defense on her. She just found ways around it. She found ways to score the basketball, whether it was playing off ball, whether it was coming off a screen. Now, there were a lot of times in this game where her teammates just weren't looking for her. I think she really could have had 50 points in this game. Genuinely, she could have had 50. She could have had 60. Seriously, I'm not just saying that. If you look at the 3rd and 4th quarter of this game, there were like 10 plays, 20 plays, it almost felt like, where she just wasn't touching the basketball. I don't get it. Like, how does a player have 22 points in a half and your teammates still don't look for you? Your teammates still aren't going to you, and she was open plenty of times later on in this game. I just don't get it. They went down big time. The stretch where they went down.
That's bad IQ and not feeding the hot hand. Because, I mean, look, if she's going to have 50 or get close to it, feed her the rock, because y'all ain't making your shots.
I think it was like 61 to 76 at a certain point in this game, getting to that 15-point deficit. All those plays were plays where Paige Bueckers just didn't have the basketball. Like 70-80% of those plays, Paige Bueckers just didn't touch it. I don't get why they're not looking for her at some point in this game, but once again, the idea that Paige Bueckers wasn't getting any defense played on her in this game, that is ridiculous. And look at this play right here. Off of offensive rebound, you see Paige Bueckers wide open on the three-point line, and she drills a shot. This is what I like to see from Paige Bueckers, because I think she's the best when she's shooting it off the catch. I've said that a a lot of times on this channel. When Paige Bueckers shoots the ball off the catch, I think she's at her best, especially from the three-point line. In this game, you did see some plays that she was hitting it off the dribble, but off the catch, her shot is pure. She's more of like a combo guard than just a point guard, even though she's obviously a point guard. She's looking to play make. She's also a combo guard. She can shoot the basketball, and I just like to see her jump shot. I like to see her form, and she had a lot of space here. They did leave her open here off the offensive rebound, and you like to see her capitalize. And y'all, look at this play right here. Paige Bueckers putting the move on this defender. What a footwork, the step through, the layup. Y'all, that's just, the package is crazy. The mixtapes are going to be insane. This chick is cold, bro. Like, that is just amazing. That's good defense, better offense. That step through was pure, dude. This is the last play I'm going to show because I'm just going to show her up until the end of the first half. She had 22 points in the first half, y'all. The second half, it was just kind of a bad look for this Dallas Wings team. They just could not get anything going, especially on defense, and there was a lot of Paige Bueckers being iced out, so there wasn't too much film to show. Even though she did end up with 35 points, there just wasn't a lot to show. But I did like Paige Bueckers' performance in this game, and she was absolutely spectacular. On this channel, I wanted to give Paige Bueckers some love for this big-time performance because it was historical. It really was. You don't see this in the WNBA all too much. If Paige Bueckers keeps this up, this is going to be great for the league. I think the matchups between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, they're going to be exciting. They're going to be entertaining. Will Paige Bueckers ever be to the level of Caitlin Clark? Who knows? Who knows if these players will even ever be in the conversation with each other when it comes to skill level. But what I do think is going to be the case is these two players matching up and the games being exciting. Kind of like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving always had exciting matchups, or whenever Kyrie Irving and Damian Lillard have exciting matchups, or even Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, like those type of exciting matchups, you're going to see them between Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark. And those players in the NBA, those players really aren't close in skill level. Curry is better than all those players. You know, Kyrie Irving has always been better than Dame in my opinion. Like, it's really not that close. But the games are still exciting even if the players aren't at the same skill level. When Steph Curry plays against James Harden, those games are exciting even though everyone and their mama knows Steph Curry has always been better than James Harden. So you can have fun games even if they aren't on the same skill level. Rivalries have nothing to do with how good you are. Steph Curry has always rivaled LeBron James, and LeBron James is like nearly the GOAT, and Steph Curry is my GOAT, but he's probably not the GOAT. You know what I mean? So it's going to be exciting basketball. It's not about which player is better. It's just about, can they give each other buckets? Can you make the games exciting? Will it be a game that'll cause like 3-4 million people to tune in? And I think Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark matchup,
That first game is going to feed families.
Can do that, but you gotta drop all the drama because people aren't gonna want to watch if Caitlin Clark's getting mauled by Dijonai Carrington every single time they go up against each other. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna end off this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next. But yeah, man, I'm out. Peace out.